Pistons season is upon us, Mr. Chief.
It is, man. We are here. We have reached the time. We are at that time now.
Man, we got a lot to talk about. I don't even know if it's a lot to talk about, but it's stuff that we definitely have to cover. I feel like with the practices coming up, with the first preseason game on Sunday, hey, you guys better be out there, support, show up. I think that it's giving us, honestly, a lot to look forward to with these Pistons, especially after what we heard from Media Day. So let me get this drum roll going, man, before we get going. I feel like I need to add like a symbol or like a, something like put the time drums in there now. But let me get this going, man. You see the new edition?
We got. Oh, look at you.
Woodward is redoing Studio B, and so that's why we've been at home. Studio B is about to be crazy, man. I can't wait. The content's about to go up a notch. And little birdie told me, man, that we might be doing stuff with Terry and Lindsay a little bit more too. Little birdie told me that. Little birdie. Shout out Lindsay Hunter too, man. OG 2004 GOAT. I'm not going to talk about his Lakers championship. We ain't going to talk about that one. But let me get this drum roll going for you, brother, so we can talk about Detroit Pistons Media Day and everything else that's coming up. Shout out to Jeff Iafredi too. Morning Woodward Show. He's doing his thing. Keep doing your thing, bro. Hey, yo! Shout out and welcome to the legend, Detroit News Rod Beard. Brother, welcome to the show. Matt, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing wonderful, man. It is it's another Wednesday morning. We made it.
We made it. Now, look, you know how we have to do things. We got to kick it off right away with Rod's thoughts, brother. What's going on up there?
Just from Media Day and people talking to Cade, it was and talking about Cade, and even when Troy led off with the same stuff that we've been saying. It's like Cade stirs the drink. Cade, that wasn't anything different. That was Cade being healthy. That's the one quote that stuck out from Troy to me at Media Day. That's just Cade being healthy. What have we been saying this entire time? So it's some people think that they don't know what they're talking about. They're just doing whatever. When front office people and coaches and players back to back kind of reinforce the same thing you've been saying over and over, then it's just some kind of validation that and not even a validation, it's just sort of I got this right, but B, listen and understand that we kind of have a finger on the pulse of what's going on, and we don't just make stuff up. We don't just kind of throw stuff at the wall and say, hey, maybe this is what's going on. No, it's in a lot of cases, it is conversations with people. It is understanding the situation and having an educated read on what's going on. So it's not that we need the validation, but it's for everybody else who kind of says, well, this is all easy. I can do this. They're not doing anything different than everybody else. They don't know anything different. Yes, we do. It's been years and years years of studying stuff, of paying attention to things, of talking to people, of understanding. So the national media is late to the party on Cade, but we have been saying this thing. Why do we even have a Cade zone? Because Cade is that dude. Cade is him. So
we knew.
We on one hand, it's not breaking news. The dude was a number one pick for a reason. But the same thing that I had said before about Cade thinks that people forgot about him. Cade feels like that forgotten dude, and he has a chip on his shoulder. How does a number one pick have a chip on his shoulder? That's crazy talk. You're a number one pick. You should be secure in yourself. And Cade for sure is. But it's that idea that people think that I'm not quite what I was when I was injured. So let me show them. It is, I think it was Alec Burks that said, this dude is about to be different. Or it might have been Ivy. One of those two said, he's about to be different. And this team is about to be different. because he's a different dude. That's
Bro.
I'll let it suffice at that. But it's just that it's just the idea that people think that we are just puffing them up and making them bigger than what they are. It's not just us saying it. It's everybody saying it. When the national people say it because they see it with the select team, then you know something. It's not just we're making stuff up. And I think that's what people think to some degree, is that we are um, just trying to hype these guys up for no particular reason. That's it. I'm gonna cut it there. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, bro, you were preaching because you told me early on, listen to what these people are saying. You just kind of following your work for years, following people like Terry Foster, being closer to it and seeing the depths that it goes, knowing that, being in that room, it's not just, oh, hey, I'm here. I get to see players. I get to this, I get to that. No, man, you ask the wrong questions. You're not asking the right things. You're not clued in. You're not going to be there. It's
Mhm.
not a conversation worth having. It's just not. It's going to be honestly something that I feel like the Pistons have tried to shore up, at least within their media room. And so it's like, from that perspective, I get it, man. I walked in there for a long time. It was just be a fly on the wall. Go in there and be respectful. Go in there and see the process. Go in there and see how hard people are working, because it's easier to sit on the outside and just talk the basketball of it all. When from the organization, you keep hearing these are people first. We care about who these people are. That's what I continue to hear. Monty Williams, he talked about that as well, about, hey, you know what? I want these guys to be what they're supposed to be on the court, but we have to establish who they are off the court as well. Why? Because we saw previous Pistons teams, man. Who knew what Andre Drummond and Stanley Johnson were going through, man? You got like effectively a guy fresh off his teenage years in Andre Drummond, who's
Mhm.
been here, who was here for a long time, having to help a Stanley Johnson, coming
Mhm.
straight out of college, going through tragedy. Like the support system, I'm glad that those boys were there for each other, but I don't quite understand or know what the overall feel was. Then you enter into Dwayne Casey, right? And the players all instantly started saying, yo, he's really cool for this basketball culture. Yo, he's really great for my development. We kept hearing that over and over and over again. And now you bring in a Monty Williams, who we all said, this is the guy to kind of bridge that gap and take them to the next step. And what is
Yep.
he saying? The same stuff. We have to humanize these players. How else are they going to resonate, man? We got players out there right now who are revolting against coaches and GMs. Why? Because they didn't care about who they were as people. Think about that, man. How your players are going to play on that floor. There is a big part of that has to do with what's going on at the top of the organization. And so it's like kind of getting that perspective from you early on, and understanding, like, listen to what these people are saying. They're going to tell you their plans. They don't want to, open up all of the secrets, but they want you to understand that there's something worth hoping in. And I get it. Pistons fans, I had this conversation with some people, man. They were like, man, we've been rebuilding since '09. And I'm like, we haven't. They've been trying to win now since '09. What Troy Weaver said, I think he had the most underrated bar. He said, we had to convince him. Tom Gores was convinced. We cannot microwave this process. And what I love about Troy Weaver is he gave the credit to people that came before him too. He said there were contracts we had to get off the book. There were
Mhm.
aging stars that we were relying on. And they had already kind of convinced them that they need to go in a different direction. And that's why Troy Weaver is even here in the first place, man. And so when he got here, it was all about what he said, putting that dish in the oven and letting it bake the right way.
Mhm.
So that then when that ding goes off, you're pulling out the finished product, the dish. And he says, we hear the ding now. Effectively, it's time to pull the dish out and get going. The first process in that, just like the Cavs. Bro, could the Cavs have made the trade for Donovan Mitchell if they didn't know what they had first? You see what I'm saying? Could they have made the trade for Jared Allen if they didn't know what they had first? So when they got to the place I think the Pistons are at now, and I feel like the Pistons are a team primed to take from this year to next season that jump that where the Cavs went from, they were punching up, and then all of a sudden they're the sixth seed that next season. And they made a few little tweaks and a
Mhm.
few little trades in season with Jared Allen. People laughed at them. Yo, you're gonna run double bigs, and then they picked up Evan Mobley. And
Yeah.
and then they were running with two guards, picking guards back to back. It's just like they were able to use that, figure out what they have, get their coach in place, and then make the necessary moves after that with acquisitions and trades and signings and such to have this team formidable. Now, when you look at the East race, who's thinking about where the Cavs were 4 or 5 years ago? Nobody,
Nobody.
man. Nobody. And I see the
Nobody.
Pistons on that
That's what it is.
same track. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think people get it. We have assets on this team. If Asar is ready, you don't think you can flip Bojan for something? Think about what we're talking about, bro. And he's on a team-friendly, honestly, he's on a good contract for as well as he shoots. You know what I'm saying? And if we have to, Joe Harris is here. And who shot the lights out last year? Oh, those two guys. Those two guys.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like, he's been cooking. And I think that when you're making a dish, sometimes there are intimate ingredients that you put in, like seasonings and dashings and things that aren't the wealth of the dish. But if you do not have them, you don't have the dish. If you have bland mac and cheese before, bro, I can't do it.
Bro. That's why when you go to family events, sometimes people will say who made the mac and cheese, who made the chicken, because it matters. There's a difference between Troy Weaver's mac and cheese and somebody else's. You can't
you're not putting raisins in the potato salad, right?
You are not getting any kind of raisins in, and it is
look like personal experience on your face, Rod.
it is dressing. It is not stuffing, it's dressing. There is a difference. It's not pumpkin pie, it's sweet potato pie. There is a difference.
Pumpkin pie for the win.
Difference.
Dude, and it's like that to me when he said it, it was like, this is what we've been stating. And they recognize it. They had already said last year was a setback and we had to kind of change our course. When you lose a Cade, everything else changes, man. That's just what happens. And when they made that change, I think that there was a lot more good than any of us actually realized. Because when all of the other guys, all the other national outlets start to do their preview, they're like, even though they 17 wins, injuries, didn't know how to track them, we know what Cade was when he played. We saw him in his full year. Take the 12 games out from this season. Take those out. What if Cade just came back as what he showed in his rookie season, right? You still have to account for this man going 17-6 and whatever, and then in the second half of the season, really averaging 20-plus points per game. So they have to be like, okay, well, he's good. They've all are ranking him at like top 40. Then Jaden Ivey. Well, he was crushing. And it wasn't like he was just trying to put up stats on a bad team, because he found a way, bro, on this bad team. If he's putting up stats on scoring on a bad team, who was he getting the 11 assists to? Those stretches games were 11, 12, 13, and we were coming on here like, yo, he's answering the questions. He had a huge stretch where he was averaging 8 assists a game as the lead ball handler in the second half of the season. How is that happening, bro? So now these guys are sitting here going, oh, well, they have Jaden Ivey. Then Jalen Duren goes out. They already know Cade, and then he proves himself at the Team USA stuff. But then Jalen Duren not only proves himself, but you kept saying it, Rod. Team USA, they don't got a big. They don't have the big they need. And now I'm starting to wonder, like, maybe that's why we were hearing the good reports about Jalen Duren out of camp. Maybe that's why. You know, it's, man, when they have to sit down and look, and then they have to talk about Asar, because all the talk was he'd been playing against high schoolers. Then he gets to the summer league, and there are guys there that have been NBA players, pro players, top-notch college players, bumping them off. You just boom, boom, boom. I'm getting wherever I want to go. You got the rebound? No, I'm dunking on you. That's what he was. And then instantly, I still got the clips. What are all of the people saying out in Vegas? I talked to fans out there, bro, and we heard the broadcast all say he's a lot stronger than advertised. A lot stronger than advertised. We got on our show and we said, actually, there's a little bit more to Asar. And I did have some sources that let me know, do not sleep on him. I had sources that told me that he is the better all-around player, and that in the NBA, that might bode better for him, though people thought the brother might have a little bit better arc because of his flash, pizzazz, and athleticism. Asar was the guy who said, I just want to play make. I want to do all the little things. And that's what he said. He said, look, man, I want to make sure I'm hustling that media day. I want to make sure I'm rebounding. I make sure I'm listening. I want to play my role. Like, these are things he was saying. Asar had this clip from overtime where he didn't know, like, his brother was behind him. And he looked around like he wanted to pass. I'm like, bro, you're lead on the break. Dunk that. And then he laid it up, man, or something, or dunked. I forget the play. And then his brother, he turned on and saw his brother. He was like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. His brother's like, man, you hear me? I said, throw that up, man, throw that up. And you could just see in his face, he was like all the way down the court, like, I'm sorry, bro, I got you next time. Like, And the national media is looking at this stuff too. And now they're sitting here having to say, oh man, they're one of the young cores. People saying, oh, they can have a year like Orlando last year. I think this squad is a little bit better than Orlando last year. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but in terms of the vets that they have here and the young people that they have here, I think that they're a little bit better, man. I really do. I wanted to get your takeaway from how confident the young guys sounded. And I want to tee it up here with this one tweet from one of our supporters, man. He really, really watches a lot of our stuff. Let me get back to it. His name is Rocky Silipo, at Rocky Silipo on Twitter. He said, I noticed even with Cade, it felt like he's had enough of talking about what they can do and is ready to go do it. So I wanted to get your overall takeaway from what you heard as it relates to the confidence of these players. It's not just the vibrato of we're ready to compete. You know, we're ready. What did they say? We're finally in a phase of learning to compete every night. This year, they said, Troy said he's not taking even one game where they're not competing.
Right. He wants to have 82 competitive games. And I think that's
the quote.
Important. That's an important mentality to set at the very beginning, to say all of these games matter. You can't have a day off. It's not like you have a team of vets and you can have a load management day because we're just mailing this one in because it's a back-to-back. I think it is you have the tools. Let's go to work. Let's make this happen and be competitive, because you can't shortcut the process. And now you're at the part of the process where you have everything you need. And there isn't would you say there's a positional deficiency on the roster where they're like, I wish we had something a little bit better right here? I don't think so.
I think they just want to see what they have right now. I think that they like what they have and they want to see how Monty. I was gonna save this for later, but like, how bad are people disrespecting Monty Williams, bro? This man went out to Phoenix and turned them from 19 to 35 wins. 19 to 35 wins. Like, think about that, man. Like, I feel like anybody right now who's just, the Pistons, they say this, the Pistons are this, that, and the other. No, they went out and they drafted well, very well. They went out and they got the coach they wanted. They went out and they got some vets to put around these players. And now they're putting a gauntlet down that if you're not going to do what you're supposed to do, y'all could be out of here, man. And now it just feels dirty, man. Like when people are disrespecting what the Pistons could be, because it's like, then you don't think Monty Williams is anything? You don't think that he's the same coach that has gone in to several different organizations and set firm foundations, with it really culminating with what he was able to do with the Phoenix Suns? Like, I don't know, man.
Let me ask you this. Would you be happy with 35 wins this year?
Bro, would I? That's what I want to see them try to attain to. I would be. I think that is a natural. I don't even think that that's the progression. I feel like the progression is like 30 wins. I believe he can get them to 35, though. I really do.
So I guess if you ask Pistons land, would they be happy with 35? I think some people would say no. I think people, there's always a faction that thinks that it's a playoff team. No matter what you see, they're going to say this is a playoff team. But I think I would be happy with 35. As a fan, I would be happy with 35 because it shows that you can compete and that you just need more time. So to your cooking analogy, when you try something out, you put something in the oven or you're stirring something on the stove and you just take a little taste and you're like, that's it, but it just needs to cook a little bit longer. But let me just put that in for a little bit more. So that mac and cheese is good, but it doesn't have that nice kind of brown top that you like to have, that brownish orange top. So you put it back in for a couple more minutes so it can get that top.
We call that black and cheese.
Yeah, but I think 35 wins would put them at that point where, okay, next year but you can have high expectations for next year. And I think that's the level that they have to look at and say, this is the barometer that you're competing in a lot of games. You're right there. 35 wins would suggest that they're right there toward the end of mean, you're maybe in the play-in conversation. You're a couple of games out. At the end, you just fall a little bit short. That's what 35 says to me. But I think some people would be unhappy with that in a weird sort of way.
I do too. I listen, man, for real. Any of you guys watching, you let me know what you would be happy with. What do you believe the Pistons need to do for
No,
you to
no, no.
feel
I need
satisfied?
35. I need 35. I
35
need a thumbs up or a thumbs down on 35.
on
Is that
35.
are you satisfied? And is that a good season if they come out with 35 wins? Because that's about the number where you would say, all right.
You could see 5 wins that they should have had and 5 losses that they shouldn't have had.
Sure.
Like that's what you're gonna wind up seeing.
Sure.
And it's like you could see, as long as we could see, like you said, all right, that's the stuff. That tastes good, like the sweet potato pie. It tastes good, but it needs to firm maybe just a little bit more, or the crust needs to just brown just a little bit more. If that's where we're at, that's what I believe 35 represents. And that's why I said that year before Cleveland kind of took off. This is the year that year before Cleveland got the 6th seed. I'm trying to see the Pistons have the year that Cleveland had kind of before that. I'm trying to see the Pistons have that year where Monty helped these guys kind of max out their potential, because a lot of people just go, "Oh, he had Devin Booker." Devin Booker won 19 games, people. You got to understand that.
Yeah,
and then
he's got to wear that too.
Yeah. And you got to think about it too, man. Like, he coached guys up. We talk about Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson and even Cam Payne. We talk about these guys, Kelly Oubre. We talk about these guys. Oh, man, they're so good. Who coached them up, though? A lot of these guys are kind of these tweener castaways. They weren't point guards or shooting guards. They weren't threes. They weren't fours. They were just kind of tweeners. And I forget the term he coined for it, but we talked about it a couple weeks back. He coached these guys up, man. Cam Payne, he was DOA, bro. What he was able to do with him out in Phoenix, and to see that these guys said that they felt seen, they felt respected, and they felt the necessity to work. You know, that they felt it. It's different when you're really, really, really working in something that you love, where, you know, when you're looking across, hey, Woodward Pistons, you know, when you're looking at your brother, you're like, I gotta go, I have to represent. And it's like he instilled that. And that's kind of what I got from the media day, from a lot of the guys that were going up there. It felt like a lot of personal responsibility. Jalen Duren talked about him wanting to be closer and build this chemistry even more with Kay Cunningham. And he talked about the fact that he got down to Texas with him. He got down there to see his stomping grounds, to work out with him, and to continue to build this chemistry. That was one of the other takeaways for me from the media day, was all of the players talking about the fact that they've effectively been together all summer, because they look at this season as one where there's no real excuses. They want to leave it out there on the court. And that's why we've been sitting here saying we got to get these guys healthy, get them on the court. But this mix of talent, it's a good mix of talent, even so much to the point that the people in the outside world, though they're not as zoomed in as us, they know that they can't just go and firebomb. They know that what they used to do in years past, they know they can't do that. So they have to kind of sit in the middle of, ooh, we think it's a team to watch. They may be a league pass darling. You got to think about that. We got all of the guys talking about Asar Thompson, man. Like, I can't wait to kind of get into the practices and see what he just looks like on a natural basis next to the other players. Because all of them, from Stu to Alec Burks, from the vets to the longest tenured of Troy's draft picks, are all saying he's ready day one. Day one. I know that's been a big question between you and I. I've actually been a proponent of, until we can see more of Asar, letting Bojan start, because I think he's that instant oatmeal, bro. You want to talk about microwave? He's microwavable, man. He's that guy that you just throw him the ball, and we used to see him out there and just like 8 points in like the first whatever, and he's out there getting it too, man. Like, I like the swag that Bogey plays the game with, bro, because he is unbothered. He got the Sunday morning, like, hoops bod, and he's just out there flaming everybody, bro.
Everybody.
And so it's like, I kind of want for K, if Bojan is in his bag, I kind of want to see that, man. But if Asar Thompson is just this kind of versatile, he can kind of go and wherever he's needed, kind of do that at a great level. What do you do, man? Because that was my question to you. All of these players, they're saying that Asar is ready to go day one, bro. They're saying athleticism, they're saying his playmaking, they're saying his vision, his ability to handle the rock. What are you doing with Asar at this point?
I think you can, and this is the delicate dance you have to do. I think you can start Bogey and bring Asar off until he gets his feet kind of there, and you can maintain, because you're doing two things. You're gauging what the value of Bogey is going to be, and if you can trade him at some point. So you want to bolster that value in case things don't work out and you have value at the deadline. But you also want to make sure that Asar is getting the right growth. You don't want to just throw him in there as a top 5 pick and say, hey, okay, go do it. Go do it. Because he doesn't have to. Because you're not at a position where he has to be the answer at that position. And that's kind of where you were with Ivy last year, is that you plug and play. You got to go right in there and be that dude, because that's why we picked you. Asar wasn't picked to start to be the 3. He was picked as an option and as an eventual option, but you don't have to immediately make that call and say he's going to be that dude. So I think that's the difference here is you can afford to wait on Asar a little bit, and he can be the first sub that comes in if you feel like you need that. So throughout the game, there can be those combinations where you have him, but you don't need to start him in order for him to be effective. Do you need him to finish some games? Possibly, but that's where having that option comes in.
Yeah. Yeah, and for me personally, we talk about that chip on the shoulder. Asar Thompson, to me, seems like a guy who's very confident in what he can do. And he said that. His quote was, "Oh, I'm very versatile, man. I can play the 1 through the 4. I'm going to surprise some people this year."
Yep.
And, some people scoff. Some people are like, "Ooh, I can't wait." But I think when you're talking about that chip on the shoulder, and you don't play him off the bench to give him a chip on the shoulder. But if you think that there's some things he can learn from the bench, like, that's why I'm glad Cade said that. He said, you know what, being out last year made me a better basketball player in his mind than potentially if he would have played, though the team was still going through some of those injuries. They would have been trying to do and changing the game plan and doing different things. But now he got an opportunity to kind of sit back, kind of assess. He talked about being able to honestly put his teammates in the best position possible. And when we're talking about Asar Thompson now, what did I tell you, bro? What did I tell you? I said, I know he can play that Cade role. Now he's coming out saying, I can do that. I can play the 1 through the 4. Like, now that he's in that position, I kind of want him to be able to see. I want him to be able to learn. I want him to sit right next to the coach and be able to see what's going on out there on the floor, because I don't want him just kind of cornered into, when he gets into that starting lineup, into just being the stand in the corner. Oh, he's our athletic guy. Oh, set a backdoor screen for him. I want him to be as full-fledged as Ivy was. And Ivy got there by having his own space. Real talk. Like that, I don't ever want to see Cade out again. And so if we're going to see any silver lining, is that Jade and Ivy got the opportunity to kind of see the first half of the season a little bit. Even though he was starting, he got a chance, though, to kind of see how Cade operated. They didn't put the ball in Killian's hands. He kind of understood some things. And when the ball came to his hands, he got the ability to kind of just spread his wings and fly, even though the team he was playing with wasn't the A team, And so I want to see Asar be able to get that type of opportunity to at least start the season. Obviously, if he's just absolutely ready, then he's ready. He's ready. No one's sitting here saying, this guy's going out there the first game, 20 points, dunking on people's heads, one of our best rebounders, because I think he's going to be one of our tougher rebounders. And then just put him on the bench. That's okay. I don't think that's going to be the case. Monty Williams was already very adamant about there's going to be a competition, which I think bodes very well for people like Killian Hayes. I do. I know people, that's a name that people don't want to hear. But you're talking about giving these people an opportunity, telling them that the board is reset, and what he was able to do with players like Mikal Bridges and Campaign. It's like, if you can turn Killian into anything serviceable, we're not saying that he's going to turn him into the 7th overall pick again. We're not saying that. But if you could turn him into something that is good for this squad, which I think he will, which I think he can be, then I think that's a positive, man. That's a positive. And so I agree with you. I want to see the Pistons, at least with the Sassar thing. If he's ready, he's ready. But if there's some tweaks and some nuances to the game that they want him to be able to see, as well as controlling his fouls, because as a rookie, you know he's going to get whistled for fouls, especially with the brand of defense that he plays. He's going to be in people's jerseys. He's strong. He's going for blocks. You know what I mean? And so it's going to be a little tough on him. I want him to be able to see the way that they referee Cade Cunningham. Like, I want him to be able to see that type of stuff, man, before he's able to step out there and just kind of be, because like if they put him out there right now in the starting lineup, what do you believe his role is to start the season?
Everything. Just do everything. Just do everything.
Everything.
Let me leave you with this.
Yes, sir.
Next week we will be able to talk about basketball. We'll be able to talk about a game, not practice, but a game.
I'm going to check back in next week.
But a game against Phoenix. I mean, but it's a preseason game, so let's stay calm. But it is,
bro. No, okay.
I mean, I'm with you. I want to see actual basketball too. But a lot of this stuff we'll be able to see Cade in a game type situation. We'll be able to see this system that Monty is implementing and have something else to talk about. So I'm hype about that. Sunday, Suns, only preseason home game. Dang, I'm gonna let you do what you're gonna do with that.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Rod? I appreciate your time, bro. I know you got to get out of here, so let me get you drum rolled out. I'm gonna read a few more of these quotes for the people, and then let them go. But Rod,
I know you got it. You got it, bro.
Bro, look, you brought the fire, you brought the heat. I am grateful for you, man. I really am. I'm telling you guys, Rod truly is a legend. Bro, man, we go to a media day. He's not even that, and we still hear his name. He made an impact, man. Like I'm so serious. I know often you talk about the fact that you're surprised when you put stuff out and online they're like, yo, this, that, and the other. And I get it. I had someone hit me up and say, hey, keep doing your thing, bro. And I'm just like, whoa, like people are looking. It matters to somebody. And so I want to make sure you understand, bro, it matters to people. It matters to people. Like Jeff was he was like, man, I just want to make sure that we don't let down Rod. Like it was different, man. It was different. We saw Vince Ellis down there, and he was just like, "Oh, the Woodward boys, man. Where's your partner at?" I was like, and then I was like, "Oh, Rod." I was like, "That's what's up, man."
Hey, what kind of Jeff we got today?
You know what?
Water bottle Jeff?
We got the duck here, man.
We got Ducky
duck here. I think all the water, man. I was up early working out and such, and the water bottle was already demolished. So I was like, that's not a good way to represent Jeff today.
Hey, Jeff is on E sometimes too.
Yep. Hey, I'm telling you, the new content. I when I say Terry and Lindsay, that's also including the three people you guys see at the bottom here, man. There was somebody who came in the comments like, it's time to take Jeff's name out. Do y'all understand how much this man does behind the scenes for this platform? I forget. I got to make sure you guys remember his name is Mr. Everything. That's what we first started calling him until he started becoming very Hollywood on us. And we love you, Jeff. But he does a lot for this platform. We got a lot on the way. We do. I can't wait. And I'm telling you guys, a lot of the content that you saw that we were able to capture is because he was in the building with me, helping me tremendously, man. So I appreciate you, Jeff. I appreciate Mike Curtis, man. Mike Curtis, Omari, James, and those guys. Corey Woods, as well. The M Live, Free Press, Detroit News, and The Athletic. Eric Woodyard, too. Man, you talking about people who just make you feel comfortable. People who are like, hey, look, bro, you want any help? If you want to show you the ropes, you said it best, Rod. That room is not one of competition. Yep. It's really one of family, and we were all happy to see each other, man. So thank you, bro. Let me get you drum rolled out of here, man, and go crush today, for real.
Yeah, try to do it.
Hey, yo, shout out to the legend, Detroit News, Rod Beard, brother. Thank you, man. Sports chief, man. I love it. All
right. Have a good Wednesday, man.
Thank you. You too, brother. Blessings, man.
All right. Blessings.
And so, look, you guys, there was like a few more quotes that I wanted to be able to fire off here for you guys, man, so you could understand just kind of how in detail and in depth and how serious these guys are, man. One of the quotes, because we're talking about Cade Cunningham a lot, was Jaden Ivey talking about the impact that Cade Cunningham has made in his career and the impact he believes that they're going to have together. Like, he cannot wait to play with him. I think that these guys have aspirations of being like the Heatles, that they all look at themselves as, yeah, we're the man. But they want to do a little bit more than just think that they're the man. They want to win. And so he said the first time I scored was off an assist from Cade Cunningham. I just look forward to getting back on the court with him, man. And that to me, I loved it. I loved it. But I really believe that the absolute bar of media day, and we're going to talk about more of this too. I'm going to come back and do some more stuff. I'm actually running out of here to go to Pistons practice today. You guys will see this after, and I'm going to have content either today or tomorrow on that as well. So I'm going to try and continue to bring you guys behind the scenes looks. I'm going to try and keep you guys updated on stuff. But Isaiah Stewart, man, he is tired of the losing. He said, when you see Lions games and fans are crazy, that definitely gives us some fuel because we want to be one of those teams in Detroit too. And I feel that, bro. All the fans actually felt that. They're like, bro, we're ready. We're ready to support y'all. We already know how Detroit does their winners. They support their winners. That's what they do. And so Stu knows that. They see how crazy the city going, the whole city, man. And we already know what the Pistons can do, man. Y'all are crazy enough to follow this podcast. Think about when they're actually winning. And look, man, there we go. There we made the graphic, put it up there. And hey, shout out to Kelvin Shepard as well. Kelvin Shepard, K-Shep. He's the Detroit Lions linebackers coach. He said, we at LCA this year, the Isaiah Stewart. That's his handle. Don't worry. Don't worry. We saw J-Mo as well go out there and show a lot of support for him. But K, yeah, like Rod said, we're confident, but we have a chip on our shoulders. Us as a team, we're ready to compete in this league. That's your star. That's your guy, Cade Cunningham. That's your guy. That's our guy. That's Detroit's newest hero. I'm dead serious, man. The K Crusader got the mask. Shout out Sean Murphy. We're going to be getting back into it soon. So, look, guys, I'm going to shut it down for now because we got to rip and run. But I appreciate you all being here. Please definitely put a like and a subscribe if you haven't, and share this, man. If you think that the content rocks, we're just trying to keep people informed. We're trying to keep people entertained as well. And we're trying to definitely show a little bit of who we are so we can all connect more real. Some important dates before I shut down for the day. Let me get these Pistons dates up here for you guys. But October 8th is the home opener for the preseason against the Phoenix Suns at 3 p.m. October 25th is the regular season open at Miami. October 28th is a Saturday night versus Chicago Bulls, regular season home opener. I'm trying to see you guys there. I will be doing content out on the concourse. I'm trying to see you guys there. So yeah, those are the dates. And October 15th, man, you guys look at Woodward Sports. You can look at my channel. I'll try and put a link as well, but the open practice is there. You do have to register for tickets if you want them. It's a max of 4 per registration. So if you have a friend, a spouse, or somebody like that who can also go, if you need more than 4 tickets, they can go on and register and do that. But you got to do it quickly because people want to see what these Pistons are like, man, what they have to be about. So definitely, man, shout out to you all. Thank you for being here, man. I love what I do because you guys, I really do, man. So for Woodward Sports, Woodward Pistons, for Rod Beer, for Jeff Frady, it's your boy Brandon Dent, aka Detroit Kool-Aid. You've been rocking out with the Woodward Pistons podcast on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much for being here. And till next time, you all. Definitely. Woodward Pistons. There we go.